A real job can be gruesome, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you.
Streaming is a real job. Let's have a real debate.
Yeah, but it's not harder than being like a doctor, bro.
Yes, I think it is.
Streaming is so easy, bro. I just get on, I do 8 hours every day. It's super easy for me, bro. It's not challenging whatsoever.
Like, what do you think's harder, bro? Like, constantly 24-hour brain surgery or heart surgery on someone, or your chat calling me like my chat right now, like all of them are saying like, oh, you're my favorite streamer, I love you so much, you're good looking, and then I've got to respond to all of them.
Tired from what? Content creation is harder than your 9 to 5.
You know what? I'm actually inclined to agree with some of the statements that these streamers have made. Streaming can be extremely difficult. Hold up. Before you raise your pitchforks and burn me at the stake, I don't mean it's actually difficult for the people that are extremely well established and have a consistent audience. No, streaming is extremely difficult if you're not an already established creator. Let me explain myself here. Streaming in and of itself is an extremely oversaturated market. Just like anything, once it got popular, more people hopped on the train and the strong survived. And those people that have an already built audience from years and years ago, odds are going to keep a lot of that audience. So, as time goes on, you're still going to get consistent views, engagement, and in turn, profit, monetary incentives for you to be streaming. If you're a new streamer nowadays, there's so many different options to choose from that odds are you're just going to be lost in the weeds when you select anything to play. Do you want to play a super popular game that has hundreds of thousands of concurrent viewers? Or do you want to pick a super niche game in hopes that somebody else has your interest? It is true that if you're interested in something, odds are there's somebody else out there that is too, but if you pick a super niche game and decide to stream it on, let's say, Twitch, that only has one viewer, what are the odds you're actually going to garner a substantial audience off of streaming a super niche game or topic? And if you pick a super saturated game, the odds of you also getting clicks on your stream are extremely low, because odds are the bulk of those viewers come from a few top tier streamers, and no one's really scrolling all the way to the bottom of the Twitch page for Call of Duty to find people that only have 1 or 0 viewers. It does happen from time to time, and there are ways to break through in the streaming world, but the point still stands is no matter what, it is extremely hard to get established. You really have to get lucky at this point. While yes, there are some components that will maybe boost you a little bit further if you have a better setup, better equipment, all of these different things that could actually give you a little bit of an edge. Comparatively, though, you don't have that audience. It's harder to gain organically, and you kind of just got to get lucky, I would say. Let's look at the barrier for entry for streaming as well. Look at a lot of the top streamers that we have out in the world. They all have pretty high production value. Different scenes that integrate into what they're playing, switching from the gameplay to the camera, transitions, all of that stuff. They have extremely good internet, because for the most part they can afford that really expensive internet, and they have good cameras, good audio quality, sound quality, all of these things. They have an advantage because they have the capital that lets them get the best equipment possible. Now, of course, you don't need the best equipment possible to start streaming, but would you rather watch a stream that's locked at 30 FPS with somebody that's got a mic that sounds like it's from the 360 era, or would you rather watch somebody that's got a 4K camera with crisp sound quality with no background noise and things of that nature? Odds are you're going to pick the person that has the better production value. Now, like I said, you can get into streaming fairly easily. The cost to entry is relatively low. I mean, if you have a phone, which almost everybody has, you can stream on your phone. But if you want to make gaming specific content, say playing Call of Duty or Fortnite on like a console or computer, you have now more investments to make. At the very least, you need an internet connection, power, and a console. So you're going to spend at least $500 to get a lot of these consoles, but let's say you're doing a little bare bones one. You can pick up an Xbox Series S for $250 to $300 US. You can hook that up to the internet, download Fortnite, plug in your mic into your controller, and stream straight from your console. These are options. There are ways to get into streaming as somebody that doesn't have a lot of capital to invest, but it still does make it harder to get seen because you don't have the benefits of having a second monitor or a second device in which you can do extra things with. You can't have scene transitions and all of those different things. That also brings me to the next point of multi-streaming. A lot of the big streamers stream on multiple platforms. You'll see people go live on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok all simultaneously so they can garner the biggest audience possible. That's hard to do when you're not a well-known streamer because odds are you don't have the money to buy the best of the best internet. I myself have decent enough internet, but me streaming to multiple sources at one time is A, taxing on my computer, and B, my internet doesn't really like me doing that all too much. I'm pretty much pigeonholed into streaming on one place at a time, and if I want to, I can download the video on demand, edit that, and put that up as small clips, but my audience is severely limited because I can't stream everywhere all at once. And I have a pretty decent computer, my internet is good enough, but I can't do all the things that all these other people can do. This goes without saying that if you don't have a lot of money, it's harder to break through into streaming. Not impossible, but it is harder. Also, the larger the audience you have, the easier it is to kind of get things going your way in terms of moderation. The more people you have watching you, the more money you bring into the respective platform you're on, the more likely you are to actually speak to real people if something were to happen to your channel. Personal example, I stream on TikTok a decent amount of times. I don't have a set schedule, but I like to stream on it when I'm just playing games casually. I was playing Call of Duty on my stream a couple weeks back, and I took somebody as a body shield, as is a feature in Call of Duty. I said Diddy Party or something along those lines. After saying Diddy Party, my stream got taken down within a minute or two, and it was deemed that I was ineligible to stream anymore because of hate speech. Now, I don't know if me saying Diddy Party was actually what did it, but they didn't give me an option to review the clip or review the incident in itself. I could submit an appeal, which I did, which got turned down not even 2 minutes later. I find it very hard to believe that a real person looked at my clip and said, yep, no, that is definitely hate speech that you had right there. I've seen significantly worse things on TikTok, but because I'm such a small streamer that typically doesn't really have anybody watching, I'm relegated to the AI and bot section in which nothing is ever really going to go my way. Streaming is extremely difficult to get into, and it's extremely difficult to actually have a consistent audience in, especially if you're someone like me who has an actual full-time job and other responsibilities to take care of in your life. It's hard to have a consistent streaming schedule. It's hard to have the best setup possible because that costs a lot of money, and just existing in the world also costs a lot of money. So yes, I do agree with a lot of the sentiments of streaming is difficult, but I don't think it's more difficult than a 9 to 5. I would certainly rather have my full-time gig be me staying at home playing games and trying to put on a persona as opposed to wake up at 7 in the morning to go to work and grind it out for another day. I don't enjoy the job I do, I work because I have to work. I stream because I enjoy streaming. I don't expect to get an audience, it would be nice to have one, but I'm kind of at a disadvantage compared to a lot of other people. Also, the thing with me streaming is I like to be actually authentic when I stream. A lot of streamers put on a giant personality when they're streaming. Everything is overzealous and this and that. And while that can engage people and bring more people in, I find it to be disingenuous. I like to think that what differentiates me from other streamers is I'm actually authentic when I stream. When I'm streaming, you're seeing me as I exist in the world. I'm not putting on a giant persona and I'm not being overzealous. The emotions you're going to see on stream are actually what I'm experiencing. All of this is to say that streaming is not more difficult than a traditional job. There are some hardships that do come with it. The more popular you get, you may possibly get swatted, but for the most part, the things you do if you are a large content creator on the space is significantly easier than what most other people do for a real job. It's not an easy gig to do by any means, but it is significantly easier than what a lot of people in the world do. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching this video. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments down below. I hope I articulated everything well enough to where you understand that streaming has its hardships, but it is an extremely easy gig in the grand scheme of things. Again, thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheerio, mates!